What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back for another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. Attention, attention, the writers are striking. The writers are striking. Attention, okay? Y'all, the writers are striking. The writers are striking. I know this doesn't appear to be air quote Black news topic, but I feel like, or I would like to quickly discuss the writer strike and what's going on in Hollywood, East and West, because Hollywood can be considered a part of the East Coast as well, where you talk about entertainment cities and places where entertainment is made. But I want to talk about it just so you guys can know what's going on in case you start to hear conversations in your worlds about the writer strike, or if it trickles down and actually affects the viewer and the consumer of entertainment at home. And while it does affect Black people, Black writers, it affects everybody. So I'm going to quickly give y'all a highlight because people ask questions and I feel like I have a little bit of information to share. I don't know the ins and outs as deeply as members of the Writers Guild of America, the WGA, but I can shed some light. So WGA, the Writers Guild. I am not in the Writers Guild. However, I am in the Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, which can be considered the sister union or one of the sister unions to the WGA. Now, for reference, there are many different unions when you talk about entertainment, or unions that are associated in some way with entertainment. You have SAG-AFTRA. SAG consists of performers of all types, even down to broadcasters and journalists. So SAG is one of the biggest, if I'm not mistaken, union, because it has so many different aspects and it covers different people. The Writers Guild, writers. There's the Directors Guild, directors. There's the Producers Guild, producers. You also have associated guilds who are more like technical. And then you have like the Teamsters, which is, you guys probably heard, if you're even from like the Midwest or places where there's a lot of like blue collar work, if you will. Teamsters drive the trucks. Teamsters are a union, and they are in a part of this conversation as well, because the Teamsters and the head of the Teamsters has gotten on board with the WGA and is standing in solidarity. Okay, so that was a lot. High level. People are no longer able to make a good living in entertainment. Streaming has happened. AI is coming up. You got you have all of these things that are happening or that have happened over the last 10 years that has caused writers, entertainers, actors, performers to not be able to make a living the way that they used to. So in regards to the WGA, if y'all remember, there was a writer strike that was around 2007, 2008. A lot of people associated with things that happened. Remember when Girlfriends abruptly went off the air? There was no closure. It stopped. Remember how the show Lost kind of took a turn? Remember when all of these shows just was on and then just got bad all of a sudden? Something happened. Most likely it was because of the writer strike. When the writer's strike happened back then, the negotiations were different. Yes, it was about making sure that writers could still make a living and a lot of other things, but the streaming platforms were not what they are today. So there was no way to add that into negotiations because honestly, nobody knew what they were up against. Fast forward to now. Let me give y'all a real-time example. Back in the day, you would write an episode for TV. Now, keep in mind, can be anywhere upwards from 3 to 12, even 20 some writers in a writer's room. But back in the day, let's say like Cosby Show, someone would write an episode of the Cosby Show. And if they were credited for writing that episode, they would get the money that was a part of their contract. And every time the episode would re-air on network television, because that's when we had reruns, we didn't have streaming, it didn't go to no platform. And in the summertime, y'all know with no TV on, so there was reruns. a writer would then get a residual check that would then be a good amount of money again that could supplement their income. So on top of the money that they were contractually getting, they will also could bank on residuals. Residuals back then could be, I saw something on Instagram, well, not Instagram, but Twitter. A girl was talking about even residuals as of maybe less than 10 years ago. She would get a residual check for like $3,600. Now, if an episode comes out, let's say Abbott Elementary airs on ABC, but y'all know it does big numbers on streaming on Hulu. To the point, the finale was up 300% on streaming. The writer of that does not get a cut of all of those streams. The actors don't get that big of a cut on all of those streams. Nobody involved in that production gets as big of a cut of all of those streams that you would think. And with that in mind, they're cutting sizes of writers' room. They're trying to make writers write full seasons of television in short amounts of time with smaller rooms. Word on the street is they thinking about cutting writers all together and having ChatGPT or some form of technology write episodes and having one writer now work on an episode and not pay them a contractual or contracted base amount. They thinking about making us day players and day writers where you come in today, you get a rate. We may ask you to come back tomorrow. If we do, you get another rate. If not, you done. Trying to turn the entertainment business into a gig economy. And I don't know if y'all know this, it costs a lot of money to live in LA. And a lot of these entertainment companies, all of these writers' rooms, you have to be required to be in town. So if we not getting no residuals, nobody, actors, writers, we're not getting what we supposed to get, directors, nobody. If we can't afford to live in this city, then what? So, and that's just an abbreviated version from the high level. Again, I'm not in the WGA, so I haven't been in those meetings. But when I tell you this is real, and if you have friends who are in the union, please stand in solidarity with them. We are still only maybe 2-3 weeks into this strike. Now adding SAG-AFTRA, which I mentioned, and the Directors Guild have contract negotiations coming up in June. Both unions are fighting for a lot of the same things. Residuals on streaming, networks trying to contract their actors and performers and talent into locking them into these contracts where they can't work on other TV shows that are on other networks. So let's say you on HBO. Let's say you on Euphoria. I've heard this has happened on those types of on networks. You on Euphoria. Euphoria is only 10 episodes. Sometimes in a contract they try to build in where you can't shoot no other show on any other network. Now, 10 episodes is cool in theory, but I need more to be able to last for the rest of the year because actors don't be making a lot of money like y'all, like they be trying to make y'all think. So if I can't work nowhere else and we only shoot 10 episodes a year and Euphoria ain't coming back for another 2-3 years, I'm supposed to just starve to death? So SAG is fighting for things like that. If SAG-AFTRA and the Directors Guild is not able to come to terms with the industry the same way the Writers Guild did, all 3 unions will be going on strike this summer, which means ain't gonna be no TV. Hey, and if so, I don't know how. Maybe they're gonna get some overseas content. Maybe they're gonna beef up reality shows. I have friends in the reality show space, and they saying this ghost town DJs over there. There ain't no movement in that area either. So all I'm saying is, it's a possibility that ain't nobody gonna be getting no new TV. If they don't come off them dollars, they not getting no new TV. And just to put it in perspective, I believe I've been reading and hearing correctly where it's the Writers Guild of America is only fighting for 3% of the revenue. All of this is because they don't want to come up off of 3%. So I say that to say that was just a quick idea, rundown of what's going on in case it starts to trickle into y'all spaces and people ask y'all what's going on, or maybe you like, what the hell is going on? That's just a quick and dirty overview. Some of that might not be 100% accurate because, again, I'm on the sideline. But I know one thing. If SAG on strike, I'm going to have more information and I will be able to tell you what's going on directly from the mouths of the Actors Union in perspective. Let me know what y'all thought about that, or if y'all have questions. And there's a lot of information on Twitter floating around. I know Twitter is becoming an unbearable space, but it's also a really great place to get all of the information about what's going on with the writer strike right now. But let me know what your thoughts are. And if you have any questions, hit me up at Cornelia on social media. There's something going on with Ja Morant, man. Y'all boy Ja Morant. Hey, man. Hey, man. It's something going on with that young man. And I don't want to make no assumptions, but somebody get an A&E on the jack, and we need to get an intervention or something, because it's something going on with y'all boy Ja Morant. In case you may not have noticed, because this just happened the day I'm recording this or the day after. Ja Morant, who is great basketball player, the franchise player pretty much for the Memphis Grizzlies, who was previously sidelined and suspended for having a gun on Instagram or on social media or on camera, who went on this interview tour talking about how he understands the consequences of his actions and he's going to be more responsible, was once again on IG Live, got caught on IG Live with a gun. Now he is suspended or sidelined indefinitely from all Memphis Grizzlies activities, and now it's just TBD about what's going to happen with your boy. So a few things. One, in this instance, it appears that Ja was in a car with his homeboy. His homeboy got on live and they was rapping to a song that just came out. I forget, one of the little young tykes who just came out with a song. Y'all don't be knowing none of the young tykes, okay? Rapping along, boo, 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 having a good time in the car. Ja rapping into the iPhone camera, goes into his waistband, pulls out the gun, waves it. Immediately, the homeboy moves the camera down. Like you can tell he was like, oh shit, nope. So the homeboy was doing his part. It didn't look like the homeboy turned the camera on with the intention of showing Ja holding a gun. It looked like Ja was excited and happy he was on camera and felt the need to show his gun. Adding, it was very quick. It was like less than a second. So if people wouldn't have caught the still frame of the gun, I would not have known it was a gun. I would not have known that it was a gun. But it was a gun. So the question is, what's going on with Ja Morant? First, he's only 23. Y'all know I say this all the time. The brain don't fully develop till you're 25. Okay. The part of the brain that is focused around decision making is not fully developed. So this young man is operating in a space where he is not fully equipped with the mental tools that he should have to be able to make the best decisions. But with that said, you would assume if you get in trouble for something before, like having a gun on camera, and you don't want to lose hundreds of millions of dollars because you play basketball, you would assume that you wouldn't do it again. And to me, it's beyond this idea he want to be like hood or whatever. There seems to be an obsession with some people who grew up in the suburbs, because it sounds like the boy grew up in a nice home, where they want to be hood and want to be in the trap, and they think it is one way, but it really ain't that way. But a part of me, and I don't want to sound mean, but I don't know how else to kind of express this. A part of me, I don't think he got it all. I think, and I'm not trying to be I think it's a couple cups missing from the cabinet. I mean, listen, and I'm not trying to be offensive or mean, but let me point out, there's a lot of people in this world that are good at things. They're good at things. They're good at sports. They're good at music. They're good at dancing. They're good in the creative space. They're good at a specific job. They're good at, carpentry, whatever the case may be. But that doesn't automatically mean that they got all the cups in the cabinet. So a part of me thinks, and let me say this, and this speaking, when I'm saying this part of it, I have somebody in mind. Some people forever make bad decisions. I know old people, who make bad decisions and have been making bad decisions forever. They're old. So sometimes you cannot conference call, you cannot team meeting, you cannot intervention, you cannot grow up, you cannot train your way out of just being someone who makes bad decisions. I want people to think about that in a sense of, what if this is his story? What are then we going to do? Because there's a possibility that he gonna keep doing dumb stuff. He probably don't want to, but there's something not connecting to say, oh, I'm in the car. I just got in trouble for having a gun. I'm so excited and I'm having a good time. My boy got his phone out. Let me put a gun out. There's something, sometimes some people don't connect those. They be like, I'll put a gun out. And then after they put a gun out, they be like, oh, shoot. Once you call it out. So I personally think that may be it. Some people were saying maybe he's trying to self-sabotage. You know, in some spaces when you don't feel worthy of your blessings and the things that you have, you subconsciously try to self-sabotage yourself so that you lose it because you didn't feel worthy of it in the first place. That could be it. Maybe he feel like all of this pressure and all of these things, why me? Why me? So let me pull the gun out subconsciously as a way to try to ruin it. That could be it. Maybe he want to be a hood dude. Maybe he want to be in the streets. Maybe he been watching too many videos, been listening to too many of the little tykes rapping about drinking lean and smoking and having guns and shooting the pew pew with the pew 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 and out here with the pew pew. And maybe he want to be out here with the pew pew. Who knows? All I know is somebody better get that young man together because it looked like he about to be the next Gilbert Arenas. Y'all remember Gilbert had a gun. And it was different circumstances and it was different reasons why Gilbert had the gun. But Gilbert got put out the NBA for 50 games. And low key, I don't be watching NBA like I used to, but from what I remember, he didn't really bounce back the way he could have. That really did something to his career and his reputation, his legacy. Because Gilbert was out here hooping. And then when he got sidelined because he was out here with the pew pew, people don't talk about him and his legacy the same. They associate his legacy with the pow pow. Okay? That's all I'm saying. What do y'all think about this? I feel bad for the kid, but I don't know what to. Hey, man, if it were my son, I would, one, get him some therapy. Two, get him some coaching as far as life skills, critical thinking skills. I would personally have a conversation with him about, one, are you trying to self-sabotage? Why did you do this? Do you think you lack great decision-making skills? I want to hear what he think about it. And then we go from there. But he gonna have plenty of time to talk about it because they gonna put that boy on the sidelines, okay? What y'all think about it? Hit me up on social media with your thoughts. So TMZ reported this week that Megan Good and Jonathan Majors were in a relationship. Now, I didn't really see much like journalism in regards to fact checking that information and citing their sources. I did not see Megan or Jonathan, either of their teams, them personally as a staff, record label, or crew, confirm that information. But y'all know how the internet been lately. And when people see something, they take it and run with it. And I'm not going to necessarily speak on how I feel about the possibility that they're together, him and the allegations that's coming out, and Megan Good, because honestly, I'm more stuck on the fact that why every time somebody see two people hanging out together or hear that they had a conversation or talking on the phone, especially in Hollywood, that y'all automatically assume that they go together. And I ain't talking about y'all, the Black News listener. I'm talking about them. And when I say them with air quotes, I mean people who report on or make it their business to report on news and celebrity gossip. And hell, this is even relatable to women that aren't in the entertainment industry. You can be talking to somebody and seen at maybe a happy hour or a work mixer, having a conversation with a man, and all of a sudden people assuming that you and him dating, y'all kicking it, having sex, y'all kissing in the mouth or whatever. I want to talk about that. Okay? Now, in entertainment, especially when there aren't many people in the world that do what you do, and you come to places like LA and you are on a specific journey and quest and you feel like your purpose is to be doing this thing, there's a community that is built around that. You are in acting classes, you are in the industry. Black Hollywood ain't that big, and successful Black Hollywood is small. Y'all know this. So you talk to people and you hang out and you build relationships and friendships and partnerships and associateships, even if that ain't a word. Y'all know what I mean. You build this camaraderie with people. Sometimes you hang out, you go kick it with them. Hell, sometimes y'all know it's the ups and downs be the highs and lows of this business. They are aggressive and extreme. Sometimes you just be out here being a shoulder for somebody to cry on. And that can easily be taken out of context and turned into, they were spotted, they're in a relationship. Who told y'all that? Now, I'm completely fine with the fact that could be true. They could be in a relationship. But I want us to, when we see that, immediately challenge it and wait for those two people to announce it. Wait for anybody to announce it. Same way with like Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey. Y'all remember when people started hearing, or like remember it was a picture and they caught during the pandemic or coming out the pandemic, we were still wearing masks at the airport. Somebody was on a plane and took a picture of Michael B. Jordan on the tarmac getting on a flight, and they were like, he going to see his girl Lori Harvey. Until they announced that they were in a relationship, to whoever, to y'all, all of us, they ain't in a relationship. They ain't said nothing. Let's do that with them. I'm not going to even get into the conversation about how people were saying he date other people. He using Megan Good as a prop and all of this other stuff. Megan Good is older than me. Matter of fact, we probably the same age. Megan Good know the deal. She been in this industry for a long time. She know the game. Megan people know the game. Megan sister, her brother-in-law know the game. So I will give Megan the benefit of the doubt to know that she would not put herself in a situation to be used or to seen that way unless she knew or was willing or was a part of that conversation or really liked somebody, that person. That's what I'm gonna say. We need to give Megan Good and the benefit of the doubt to say, if she in a relationship with him, let's say they are together, she know what she doing. With all of that said, what y'all think? And have y'all ever accused somebody of being in a relationship and y'all didn't know? Maybe y'all just saw somebody talking and having a good kiki, and y'all was like, they go together, they fucking. And check me if I'm wrong, because I might have done that on Black News. Okay, I might have done it on the podcast, been like, yeah, they together, and I ain't know no information. I ain't had no facts. Check me if I've done that. And check yourselves if you have to. What y'all think about this situation? Hit me up with your thoughts on social media. Speaking of taking stuff and running with it, Corinne Foxx, the daughter of Jamie Foxx, had to come out and announce that her father is actually at home recovering and was playing pickleball last week after the internet basically made up stories that he was on like life support and they were preparing for the worst. Somebody on the internet had all of us in shambles, complete shambles around the fact that we haven't heard from Jamie Foxx. So that must mean that he is about to be up out of here. I'm talking about had us shook. Meanwhile, he's doing fine. Apparently, according to Corinne Foxx, that Jamie Foxx is home. Now, what happened to him? We still don't know. It ain't our business. I told you I haven't been asking or trying to find out. We know what they want us to know. Jamie Foxx ain't our business. We do care about Jamie Foxx. So yes, we are still wishing and praying for his speedy recovery based on whatever he had went through. But again, it's still the internet. Something is going on with the internet. And I told y'all, I think I know what it is on Twitter. If y'all missed last, I think ever since Elon Musk took over Twitter, there has been a large amount of discourse within the Black community, meaning even on my timeline is drastically different, where now it's just a bunch of negative thoughts and people bashing people and just arguments and fights and debates about everything. I mean, and I'm not even exaggerating. The whole For You tab is just discourse. It was not that bad before Elon Musk. It wouldn't be shocking if he had somebody in his pocket or had a plan to be doing this, especially as we head into election season, the same way the Russian hackers had our aunties and uncles in the misinformation chokehold of 2017 on Facebook. It looks exactly the same. But outside of that, it's something happening where we just taking stuff and running with it and don't know where we got it from. I saw the other day, y'all know people been saying since Beyonce did that secret show in Dubai that her foot was hurt and that she had foot surgery and that's why she wasn't dancing and she was healing and that's why she was off. Somebody posted the other day and they were like, wait, who told us that? Who told us that Beyonce had foot surgery? Who told us that she was injured? Somebody just said it and everybody was like, yup, she had surgery. Now, granted, she could have actually had surgery, but she never said that. Nobody on her team said that. So who said that? And why do we be like running with it? Like, what is happening? There's something happening. Now, let me give the examples of what I talked about on Black News today. Ja Morant. What happened with Ja ain't no rumor. We saw he had a gun. So it ain't like one day somebody woke up like, Ja Morant had a gun. He had a gun. Megan Good and Jonathan Majors. I talked about that just a second ago, how we don't know the details and nothing's been confirmed. So let's just take it with a grain of salt until it's been confirmed. Otherwise, instead of just seeing something, be like, they go together. Beyonce in the foot. Jamie Foxx and his, whatever he was going through, his medical emergency. What is going on where people just be making up stuff and running with it? Now, this leads me to the conversation. If y'all follow Kev on stage, y'all don't follow Kev. He posted a really great, like, journalistic moment on social media because it seems like the rumor about Jamie Foxx started with a site called like Rap TV or at Rap on Instagram and Twitter and whatnot. They just came all of a sudden was like, he on life support platform. He nearing the end. And after some digging, it seemed like that whole site was ran by a group of white dudes reporting on all of these topics around Black culture, Black news, talking points. They ain't even a part of the culture. So it could be things like that at play. I say all that to say we got to keep our head on the swivel. It is something going on. This seems like targeted discourse from all areas, and the internet is making us less likely to do research or to wait for actual verified information. Y'all, as the Black News listeners, tell your aunties and uncles and them, Let's stop jumping out there with info. Let's hold a beat and do research or to see if we can really dig and find the truth, because it's getting out of hand. It is getting out of hand. And I'm concerned. I am really concerned. Have y'all been noticing this? Have y'all been seeing this? If so, share. Let me know. Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts and what you've been seeing on social media, or maybe you haven't. But if not, start paying attention, because I'm willing to bet that you will start to notice. Hit me up on social media and share what you've been experiencing in this regard. I'm at Cornelia on all platforms. On this week's episode of Black News, we discussed the writer's strike, what's happening, how it's affecting people in the industry, what's going on, and just an overall discussion about what it means for entertainers in this business. Also gave a Morant update and how he walking around with the pum on social media and the repercussions that's about to come with all of that. Next, we talked about Megan Good and Jonathan Majors and the rumors and people assuming one thing just based off the fact that they may have been spotted together at an event or just hanging out. And lastly, gave a Jamie Foxx update from the words of his daughter, Corinne Foxx. Jamie Foxx is at home and is doing well. With that, let me know what you thought about all of these topics, some and none, and I'll check in with you guys next week. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again. Thank you. And thank you again so much for sticking with us, supporting the podcast, liking and subscribing on all apps where podcasts can be heard, rating 5 stars and leaving a comment. It helps more than you know. So I really, really appreciate it. And keep sharing Black News with all of your friends and family. Be sure to hit me up on social media if you got ideas for topics. Or just hit me up in general to let me know you've been listening. Let me know your thoughts. I'm at Cornelia on all platforms across the board. That's at Cornelia, like Kenny and Ophelia. Also check my website. I got some shows coming up in Los Angeles County. Hopefully get on the road soon. But for now, if you're in the LA area, hit me up. Check Cornelia.com for show dates and details. And as always, thanks again so much, guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Keep supporting, keep growing, keep building, keep staying safe, and keep staying healthy. As always, again, I'll see you back here next time, same time, same place. Bye.